Welcome, welcome, welcome to week two of our financial confidence series. Wow, my name is Denise Williams, and I am so glad you're here. So, if you are on our YouTube channel checking us out, please give us a shout out, drop a comment, drop a fire in the chat so we know who's with us. Wow. So I am super excited for this week because this is the week. What we're going to be doing is talk about something that really touches me so much. So, as I said, my name is Denise Williams. I'm an approved financial counselor. I help people out of bankruptcy. I also help people to expand their asset base. So, really, truly, I help you on two ends of the spectrum. So, if you are, rebuilding, or if you are expanding, I am here for you. So, my client base is wide and varied. So I'm so grateful. So as you are logging on, please, 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 please drop me a line. Let me know where you're coming from and just let's talk. Yeah. Okay, so this week it's about track it to stack it. So I am going to go back a little, talk about what we looked at last week. But this week we're building, we're getting stronger, and we want to help you navigate and build financial confidence. Now, one of the things that is really the opposite of financial confidence is scarcity. And scarcity is the wound, the emotional wound that we're going to be looking at this evening, that, in my humble opinion, is the block to why we don't want to see the money flow. Now that you might, oh, but that's not true. I want money. Yeah, we want money. We need money. Good evening, good evening. Yes. Thanks for dropping me a link. We want money, but do we really want the flow? Because we're going to dig into scarcity. We're going to dig into our emotions before we look at the math and before we look at the software that I use with my clients. Last week we talked about your emotional economy. Okay? And that is how you give, how you receive, and if you're in balance. And what we realized last week is that when you are out of balance, you can end up in financial debt. So, good evening, good evening, good evening. You can end up in financial debt because you're in emotional debt. Okay? They go hand in hand, because if you are, I had a client literally took 1 year to open their credit reports. That's emotions. And, lots of client stories, but I'm the host. So let me tell you about me. In my debt journey, I was a classic people, or I am. I'm a high fae. I am a classic people pleaser. You can know. It's like, how do you know? So you probably feel if you're a people pleaser, but check your retirement account. Check your pension statement, check your investment statement. These are the mathematical clues to your emotions. If you're a people pleaser, it's going to show up. Hi, Carol. If you're a people pleaser, it's going to show up financially. If you're not in integrity with yourself, you're going to be in debt. And I can tell you, when I look back at 2019 for myself, listen, a lot of times when persons call in and I'm working with them through the bankruptcy challenges, it's like I'm talking to myself, right? It's over giving. You give so much to so many people. And what's left for yourself? And so it reflects on your credit card statements, reflects on loans. You borrow this loan to pay off that loan. And so last week we talked about that. The other thing we did last week was we actually went through a credit report. So there's fraud and identity theft. I could not believe that identity theft happened to me last week. Someone else named Denise Williams got stuff from the shipping company. It's so common. So the power of reading your credit report, literally anything, because as I said, that happened to me with the shipping company, that puts power back in your hand. And that's what we did last week. Many times when persons hire me to work through their credit, they would have had debt that they paid off already, but it is still on their credit report, blocking them from getting a loan. Okay. Your credit report opens doors, and really and truly, when you have it in your hand, you can assert your legal rights with confidence. So I want to ensure that if you haven't, you can watch the replay. If you should be signed up in our ecosystem, so you would have access to the replays from last week. So welcome to everyone who's joining. Please share the link with a friend and jump on with us, because in this financial confidence series, we really want to help you to move. And when we move now into week 2, when we say track it to stack it, why don't we track our money? Because we don't want to take too much. When you track your money, you know what's working and what's not working, and you don't want to take more than your share. This is coming from our ancestors. This is not really you, because why wouldn't you want enough to cover your bills and maybe travel if you're into investing? And we will talk about investing next week. Why wouldn't you want that? Okay. And so scarcity. Remember, we said debt is like people pleasing and not putting yourself in priority. Well, not tracking your money is a part of scarcity. You don't want to take more than your share. And the other challenge is that your money, the energy, because money is energy, it hits a ceiling. And you're like, how come I can't make more? How come every time I make money, some disaster happens and I don't have the money, right? It's a problem. A lot of times these are inherited limits, but they don't work anymore. So, if your grandparents had 100,000, they probably could buy a house. You with 100,000, you can't buy a house. Let's just be honest. But if you are carrying the lessons, the money lessons from your grandparents, then you are pretty much stuck at their limits. Okay? And because you're carrying your parents and your grandparents' inherited limits, you're not tracking your money, you're not bringing in more. You don't want to be out of place. You're afraid, right? So you don't want to be judged. I, Denise, don't want to be judged. I don't want you to, oh, sister have money. And Lord, she have money. And blah, blah. And nobody wants to be judged. Nobody wants to earn more than the tribe that you come from. And that can hold you back. Another reason we're not tracking our money so we can stack it is you may actually feel unsafe. You may, like for me, it's like, okay, what would my grandma think of me? What would my family think? Is it that I think I'm better than them? Right? And if that's the case, you're gonna be limited to the money that comes to you. And so really and truly, it's about standing in your power and saying, I am allowed to be here. Affirmations. Because remember, we do emotions before numbers. And so affirmations are part of the rewiring that we do before we get to the numbers. Okay. You are allowed. Do you need permission? I am giving you permission. I have to give myself. I give myself permission for more. And I give you permission to join me. Another way we block, okay? Another way we block is we postpone pleasure. We can't enjoy right now. If we get too comfortable, we feel exposed. Our bodies suppress, not absence. And you feel more vulnerable with pleasure. You ever heard the term guilty pleasure? That's the problem. Guilty pleasure. So, for those on the call, I again want to say welcome. And is anyone, is this resonating with you? Do you feel that you have guilty pleasure? Is there a time when you spend money and you feel guilty or you feel undeserving? Please feel free to share in the chat. Let me know, because I want to know if this is landing with you. Because a lot of my clients, I have been told math is the weapon formed against them. And of course, financial confidence does come with math, but it also comes with knowing your feelings. So please know that this is a safe space to share your feelings. And if you have a comment, I will read it in the chat. So please. Now, let me be clear. The numbers tell the story, but let me tell you what happens emotionally. If you don't like money, if you feel uncomfortable opening your bank statement, so you may have, statements that are like, here, look at this, unopened. When did I get this? July 2025. Yeah. If you are holding on to statements that are unopened because, it feels uncomfortable, money doesn't stay where you feel uncomfortable and it feels dangerous. Some people, as soon as they get money, they got to spend it quickly, and they don't track their money again because it's uncomfortable. The idea in this session is that you want to feel pleasure from your achievements so that you can track your money to stack it. So, what we want, one of the things that is 100% clear, this is really the goal. So, this whole session is about a heart that's free from debt, an abundant and emotional freedom. This is the whole point of everything we're doing. But I really wanted to give you a different perspective on financial planning than what's normally given, because a lot of people have a ton of emotions, and that creates the block. And we want you to have financial confidence and financial freedom. I also want to remind you that this is a donation class. I will be sharing the link. And this is for, I worship at the Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living. And a lot of the training that I share with my clients about the emotional impact of decisions, this is what I learned here. So again, if it's somewhere you're happy to visit, it's across the street from the AC Hotel. But I wanted you to be aware of really where a lot of my knowledge about the emotions and the impact on the heart came from. Also, we have on February 25, the day after my birthday, yay, we're having an investment chart reading watch party where we will be in person. And so more details will be coming in your email, in WhatsApp. So take note of that, because that, us being together in person, can help you kind of reinforce what you learn and help you to make better investment decisions. Okay. And then for those who want to do a private coaching, the links have been shared. I am here. It's 5 days. We get deep down into your situation and let me know if there's an interest. And last but not least, if you need me to help you with your credit report, again, the links will be shared. Okay, so back to the trading. The money in your mind controls the money in your wallet. Any comments? Can I get anyone to tell me what that means to them? Can you drop a comment in the chat? Any comments? Any comments? Okay, so the money in your mind controls the money in your wallet. So let's just go through these quickly, because I suspect everything has happened to me on this. When we look at why do you need to not only have your emotions but your money. Okay, you may have gotten a big promotion. That has happened to me. But you may be starting over after divorce. That has also happened to me. There's retiring early. There is a surprise. Yeah. if that has happened to you, a surprise inheritance, you may be doing a side hustle or unexpected illness, a job loss, a career change. All of these things may be happening to you. And these things are energy. They're all energy. And oh, hi, Moses. Hi, welcome. They're all energy. And let me tell you, if these things happen to you, the energy behind it impacts your money. Okay? And so this is why we need to track what's happening to us. And if any of this has happened to you, please drop it in the chat if you want to share. But let me tell you, for me, job loss and starting over after the divorce probably were the two biggest pivots in my life. Okay? And let me tell you, I had to do this. Take out your pen and paper, because this is what is the thing. This is part of my personal recovery, why I think tracking your money is important, the whole takeaway from tonight. So, before we dive into asset swapping, the emotions of tracking your money, I just want to repeat, I understand. I lived there. Tracking your money digs out of you a lot. But because I believe in this concept of asset swapping, if there's anyone who wants to share before we get into the numbers, please, and when we're in the numbers, please free to stop me at any time. But I wanted to make sure you understand that there's a lot of hidden and deep emotions that may be blocking you. So here we go. So this is your financial plan through your life. And this is just literally energy. Okay? Focus, planning, action, thriving. Your energy is way better. Yeah? It's going up. Notice on the yellow, you're up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Yeah? That's 9 to 18 months from now, because you're just surviving. But of course, look at the red line. There's stress, there's fear, there's panic, and usually everything becomes much worse. You know, I can say to you that this has been my experience. And again, if you want to drop anything in the chat, please feel free. Let me tell you, you know, in terms of the emotions of money, we're going to talk about tracking your spending. We're going to talk about the math. But you know what's been my biggest financial tool? My biggest turnaround tool? Here it is. This is it. Box of crayons. You know, I've rubbed these down. Actually, I have a new box. I haven't opened the new box yet, because I'm still working the old box. But this is it. Okay? This has been my financial tool. And you're like, what is this? Well, as you know, as I shared last week, I am an artist and I paint out my emotions and I color so much when things feel like they're not going the way they're supposed to go. And so because my crayons are my financial tool, and so, okay, so what do you do? If I have these crayons, what do I do? Well, I tend to, color in things, or I tend to draw circles and squares. It's a total kindergarten experience, okay? Why is that? Why? What does these box of crayons have to do with it? But I mean, look at this. The emotions of money, for me, I understand it in color. So the focus, the planning, the action, the thriving, the way better is emotions. Okay, we have here bold career change and underestimated monetary and emotional cost of it. Yeah, yes, 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 yes. Okay, we're gonna unpack that. And we're gonna unpack that with this. We're back to this. So for me, 2019, I went to a JMMB, so Jamaica Money Market Brokers event, and I got up on stage and I emptied out my guts. I cried, I cried, I cried. I mean, it was like about 200 people there. And what I initially had gone up to the microphone for, I cried out my guts. Why? Well, you talk about bold career change and underestimated monetary and emotional cost of it. Well, sweetie, I have a special needs child, and I the cost, you don't know till you know. I was also not I wasn't aware that I wasn't sleeping because my son had a heart condition, and I was like, he had other issues. I was sleeping one eye open, and I went to work one day, and I was working at a bank, and I went to work one day, and I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and I signed for the CEO, and it just went downhill from there, and so I was in stress, fear, panic, and everything went much worse, right? That's where I was. And I was let go, and I have two children, one with special needs. And as I said, it just kept getting worse. Um, my retirement account of how much years I was married for 23 years, that money went, um, and it went to somebody younger, hotter, better looking than me, according to the other person. And so there went my retirement money, there went my job, and I have two children. And now I have to get a divorce because I'm about to lose my mind. I can't sleep. I can't, I'm not functioning well. It's, as I said, my financial plan in that period was here. It was stress, fear, panic, and much worse. And I can damn well tell you I wasn't tracking my spending. I can tell you that. I was not tracking my spending. I wasn't stacking nothing. I wasn't tracking nothing. Every decision I made was probably a really bad one. Every financial choice I made was probably a really bad one. Because I, at the time, didn't understand how much energy was swirling around me. And so I hope Denny's on the call. She was last week. I'm back to this. I'm back to a box of crayons. So I learned about this. What is this? Art journaling. It's just like magazines and stuff. And drawings and all kind. Hi, Dan. And then, she taught this, and here's from one of your classes, and we did all of this work, and we painted mandalas, and you must like, what's that got to do with money? Everything. And we did classes, and I'm just doing all kind of stuff with Denise, and she's teaching me about how to express. And I'm holding on tight to my crayons because our money, our savings, our investments, everything is emotional. You think, oh, I'm so rational. You're not rational. What the hell? It's all emotions. So we're back here. For me, I had to go from red to orange, which was surviving. And I was really happy about that because at least I wasn't in stress, fear, and panic. But I was in stress, fear, and panic for years before I got to yellow. And then I got back to green because I just got hit one thing after the other. It was horrible. So the thing is, also as a financial coach, again, where you think crayons, I have to again, I'm so sold on the concept of crayons as a financial tool, because you got to keep refining your financial plan. There is no such thing as one financial plan, because I learned from Denise Robinson Francis that you got to keep coloring, right? You got to keep doing. There's no such thing as bad art. There's no such thing. And so there's no such thing as a bad financial plan. It is when you get stuck in that financial plan and you got some problems. Okay. Now, this is a tool I use with my clients. And what it does, it's called WizeFi. I shared it in the link. And as you can see here, the FF is financial freedom. And my clients, original, based on how they were spending, based on how they were not tracking, their financial freedom date was 87. Do you see it? I hope that you can drop in the chat if you're following me. Their financial freedom original plan was 87 years old. I don't know about you, but I plan to kick back at 87. I don't know. We worked and we got it to age 64, which is pretty normal. But what did we do? Well, we had to, let me get back here. What did we do? We had to balance this for the emotions with the numbers. Okay? We tracked the spending, we tracked the income, which was hurtful. I'm not going to be the financial planner that's telling you this fun. Because if you don't like tracking your numbers, you just don't like it. But I can help you more if you do. And that's the key. Yes. Hi, Tasha. I sent you another link if you want to make a comment. Yeah? Right. Here, Denise says she plans to create more art. You mean at 87? That will kick back. Yeah, I'll be joining you with the art. We'll be hanging out together. But this is the tool to help them. As I said, this is according to my world. This is a tool to help you cope with the emotions that come with tracking. Okay? So I just want to give an idea of what you're going to experience because I'll be sharing the link with you tomorrow. But you see that we drop in emergency savings, debt. We look at, in this case, and this is, of course, an example, the person had $75 of financial, we call it financial freedom dollars. And last week, we talked about, like, how do you invest? How do you create a portfolio? Should you do insurance? These are some of the conversations we can have when you are tracking your spending and your income. Because we can look at, let's say you only had $75 for the sake of the argument. Now, for Tasha and my friends in the US, $75, $75. For Jamaica, just drop two more zeros behind it, 7,500, right? But when we can see what you have, what are your freedom dollars, right? We now can plan. Or we can get out the box of crayons and we can color and draw and process your emotions. Because if you're dishonest about your emotions, I mean, the $75 may feel like, oh, thank God I have the money. Or it may be, oh, I'm a complete failure. All of that, this solution. I'm sorry. This is like, I'm so committed to a box of crayons because you can work through your emotions. So the next thing is looking at your top 5 expenses. Okay, here we go. Getting my box of crayons tomorrow. Yes, yes. Please get a box of crayons. Because now we can see. So as I said, I love WizeFi. Sending you out the link tomorrow. You can see your debt progress. You can see how much you're spending, like in clothing or transportation, health insurance. It helps you to pretty much visualize what you're seeing. Okay, we got another comment. And Denise says creative actions can calm the nervous system. It is a reset, so you shift to greater clarity around any issue. Of course. So now imagine you have this, you're doing the work. Now, WizeFi gives you 30 days free access. And you make the most of the 30 days. And you track your spending, and you have this. We can sit down and recolor the chart. We can draw over the art. And the other thing we can do is use this box of crayons and change what you don't like. Like literally reprogram your mind to see something different. I can tell you that I did this with a client, and the client, I kid you not, the client had spent 25,000 United States dollars on KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. And she realized she had an eating disorder. And it is, funny, but not funny because, like, oh my God, $25,000 on KFC. But it wasn't until she was able to see the color. Remember, we're all just kindergartners, in a bigger body. She needed to see the colors to know, like, OMG, I'm really spending so much money on KFC. I can tell you that when I did this, I stopped taking my children to the supermarket. I couldn't take my children to the supermarket anymore because realize I have this thing in my head that, a really, really good mommy uh, gets her kids the stuff they want in the supermarket. But I don't know about you, but I noticed that stuff my kids like in the supermarket have been shrinking in size. And you're basically buying a whole heap of things a little bit of things for the same money. And so, of course, we also talked last week about the credit card being Prince Charming coming to the rescue. And I had to stop taking my children to the supermarket. I couldn't do it. It was too much, Mommy, can I have this? Mommy, can I have no. It was too much. Too much, too much. But this helped so much for me. Now, we talked about asset swapping. How are we going to get to money? Now, would you believe when I say to you that this asset swapping is another crayon moment? It's another this is a Denise not Denise Williams, Denise Robinson, Denise Francis Robinson art journal moment. Okay? So grab these tights. Grab them tight. Why? Because asset swapping says if you need to get some cash in your life, you need to kind of balance out what's not so wonderful, you are going to do this. You're going to go through every and anything in your life, and you're going to list them. So what we have here: art, furniture, motor vehicle, real estate, land, computer equipment, anything, your talent, your skill, your ability. Then he says here, and saying no to all their choices teaches them, that a certain age, that at a certain age to only say no to freedom with money. Oh, are you talking about my kids? You want me to comment about the kids in the supermarket? So this is, and saying no to all their choices teaches them at a certain age to only say no to freedom with money. Well, okay. So let me explain. I give my kids like an allowance, and I said to them, you get what you want. I'm not going to dictate what you get. I'm going to, and I explain budgeting to my kids. So it's not no in terms of if you want it, take your allowance and buy it. It's we need to, where my kids are 15 and 16 now. So it's like, you need to make choices. So if you really, 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 really want that bag of, chips, then you gonna pay for it. I'm not gonna pay for it. So I think I get what you're trying to say, though, that if your parents have instilled in you, no, you think money grow on trees, that kind of thing, or no, you think mommy have money and mommy don't have money. I get that. I do get that. Right? I do get that. And you're talking about freedom. We actually, in the beginning of this conversation, we were talking about scarcity. And a lot of people don't track money because of the scarcity that was instilled from, the ancestors or your family. I get it. I'm back to this. I'm back to this. You gotta think about your emotions and how you feel, like just freedom with money. Do you feel free? Or do you feel that every dollar is accounted for? So if you then track your spending, you're restricting yourself. That's an interesting conversation, because then we have to ask ourselves, what do we mean by freedom? For some people, freedom means I don't worry about money. I don't track money. I get anything I want. Again, we have to have a conversation. This is where the conversation starts for me. Why? Because this is non-threatening, right? And I'm looking at about 5 shades of green, and green is money, and I can color 5 different emotions and feelings about freedom with money. Like if you gave me a stack of cash right now, I would say thank you, but secretly I would be terrified somebody break into my house. Like all the thieves never knew where I lived before until you gave me money, and now everybody knows where I live. So I'm all of a sudden triggered in not feeling safe. I have to deal with that because what if that's triggering me? Instead of people wanting to give me cash, I repel them. Okay, and then he says I was talking about early learning. Yes, but it's coming from that because what happened to me in childhood when someone gave me cash? Well, somebody just came and took it from me. So I learned that if I have cash in my hand, someone's going to take it from me. So I don't want cash. Don't give me cash. Wire me. Because if it's in the bank, you can't touch it. And then that, so that childhood fear. So literally from, what I would give you homework, other than going to get a box of crayons, think about from 0 to 7. What were your early experiences? But I hope you're proud of me when I say this, Denise. Don't write it down. Draw it. Draw it with the crayon. Draw a stick figure of your mommy and your daddy and you. And draw pictures of money. And draw, because you know why the drawing is important, particularly around money, because the subconscious mind only really understands symbols. When you have a deep dream, it's symbols. It's not actual thing. So use the power of the crayons to draw the symbols and sort of draw out your issues, okay? Because when we get to asset swapping, you are going to put a price on everything you own. And for a lot of people, that is heavy. I had a client and we needed to find $1 million Jamaican quickly. And so I had her do this asset swapping strategy. And she called me in tears. In tears. Because remember, you're listing everything, including your talent, your skill, and your ability. And she called me crying in tears. Why? First of all, she said her bed, she don't think it worth anything. Her bed is old, and I said, okay. So you've been sleeping on this king size bed for how long, and it's worth nothing. So you're just gonna throw it outside because it's worth nothing. Well, I went to courts. I went to the furniture store and I saw better. Yeah, yes. We're always gonna see better. Always. But are you saying to me that your bed is worth nothing? And I'm not telling you to sell your bed. I was just giving an example. Skills and ability. Oh my word. This is where imposter syndrome turns up because I'm asking you to put a dollar value on your skills and abilities. I'm asking you in the WizeFi software to track who you are and what you have. And you may need to just draw some circles and pull out the emotions because it's heavy. And I know that. Okay? When you price everything, the question is, what can you release? What can you sell? Are you attached to every single thing? Or do you believe that everything has no value? So literally your house is filled with no value stuff? I don't know if I buy that. I don't know. But this tracking exercise and just wanted to give you a quick idea of how it looks. So as I said, I'm going to be sending you the link tomorrow, and just wanted to talk about the different types of assets in your life. So again, please, during this 4-week financial confidence series, please WhatsApp me if you have any questions. Like, you don't have to be quiet and don't say anything to me. Denise says, okay, I got you. Thank you, Denise. Feel free to reach out. Do not think you're on your own. So what we're saying here, and again, for a lot of people, this may be emotional. I want you to look at the type of assets you have. Are they productive assets? Meaning they appreciate in value and you can get some money from them. Okay? So my beautiful friend Denise Robinson has an amazing art collection. And I am challenging you, Denise, of singling you out to price everything. Just do it. Price all of your art. There is so much value that each of us has. And you may say, oh my God, I have nothing. Are you saying you don't have furniture? Are you saying you don't have clothes? Are you saying you don't have talents? I don't buy that. You have a talent. I know someone on this call that went to law school and that has a value. Okay? So don't tell me you don't have any value. Then we have non-productive assets. And they actually depreciate in value. So you buy a new car. If you're not using the car for like Uber or some kind of rideshare program, then it depreciates in value and it doesn't bring you any income. So you need to write that down. And then we have limited assets. Literally, the house you live in is a limited asset because it does go up in value. But if you're not earning any income, then it's a limited asset. So what am I asking you to do? Look at your talent, your skills, your ability, all the assets you have, group them in 3 categories, right? Productive, non-productive, limited assets. Why are we doing this? Because you need to let go. You need some cash, time to let go. You feel uncomfortable about writing down, tracking it so you can stack it. See here, see the answer here. Do you believe that your bed has no value? Draw a picture of your bed. And then put a big fat 0 beside that bed. And does that land for you? Really? Does it? Or, I keep using the bed as example. Okay. What do we want to use? A couch, your bed sheet, your knife and forks, your TV, your graduation from university, whatever are your assets. If you think they're worth nothing, draw it. And then put a big fat 0. And I don't think you're going to feel that's true. I don't think it's true. I don't even know what you're going to write. And I don't think the answer is 0. But if you think the answer is 0, please grab this. This is your therapy. This is your financial tool, according to me. So you're going to get access to this once you sign up for WizeFi, okay? And you'll be able to get this done, list your assets, and you'll get a chart and they'll ask you, the name, the type, the value, and are you willing to sell? Am I telling you to sell your assets? If you don't need to, don't do it. But I am telling you to have the bravery to do it. And what is the purpose? Why am I recommending Wise Finance? Love it, love it, love it. Because of this, we want to get you to financial freedom. We want to know how much of your credit cards left over to pay. We want to know if you have emergency savings. The tool takes care of all of these questions for you. And then you use this tool to cope with the emotions that the tracking brings out. This is it. Okay? And then you can buy, if you can have a big journal, or you can have a small journal, right? And look here, I'm not joking with you. You can have a journal. Look here, sweetie. Look here. Okay. Wait, I got one more. Okay. All these journals. I'm not joking. All right. I took the classes with Denise, and she got me hooked on doing journals. Okay. And so each journal, I could tell you my business and what each journal is for, but just know I like journals. Oh, my birthday is next month, so you can get me as well. I like elephants too, right? Okay. And so, and this is not my to-do list. That's a totally different journal. So I'm saying all of this to say it is not dry numbers. It is emotions. And when the emotions, look here, I got another one, another journal. And it is when the emotions come up, here we go. I've been doing a lot of talking. Anybody want to comment? Anything land with you? Because this is what financial confidence is about. Being honest with yourself, knowing where your money is, and having the tools to express the emotion. Yeah. And using the technology to track what's going on in your life. This is a real thing. This is how you develop financial confidence, and this is how you deal with all the icky, yucky parts of life, right? And I just, any questions? Because as I said, I will be sharing the link with you so that you can start. If you have any questions, you can WhatsApp me. I want to just show you that, this is what I'm asking you to do. You notice that the money is being tracked every day. You get it is a paid service. It's like $9 a month, a little bit of money. But you get 30 days complimentary. And I'm saying to you, if you take that 30 days and you utilize it and you see what's happening and you do the asset swapping and you list everything you own, including your talent, your skill, your abilities, your certifications, your awards, just everything. And if it gets yucky, you deal with the emotions by coloring, drawing, doing circles, stars, boxes, whatever. In 30 days, you will be able to clearly identify where you can pour more energy in so that you'll have surplus money so that you can see where opportunities are, so that if you need to start investing, because we're going to talk about investing next week, you need to start investing. If you need an insurance portfolio, if you need to recover from decisions that were not fantastic, you now have two pathways. We talked about emotional debt last week. We talked about the impact on your credit report. This week, we have talked about tracking it to stack it. We talked about the emotions that get in the way, right? Pleasure. You may not feel that you deserve pleasure. You may not feel like, tracking your money is good. Math may be the weapon formed against you. But it is a way to be in integrity with yourself. Is it easy? No. Will you fall in love with doing it? Probably not. I actually have more joy right here. This is where I have my joy, right? But is this how you get help? Yes, it is. Is this how you dig out of the hole? Yes, it is. Is this a way? Look here, what did I tell you? All of them journal here, dealing with emotions. This is my man journal, like I'm divorced. What do I want in a man? This is journal. This is my, I took a course on e-commerce and digital stuff. So this is my digital diary. This one is good things. I just list when good things happen. I have this diary here. This one's my investing diary. Sister, that I write about investing and the different things. We'll talk about that next week, right? This one is real estate. It's my real estate diary. It should be bigger, but I don't know. I just like the color pink. It has no connection, but that's like color, right? So none of these diaries, the colors mean they have no connection to what's inside. I just happen to like, the book. So this is my daily diary, got from the Small Business Association. And this is my ambition art journal. All kind of ambition. Oh my gosh. Should I share any of my ambitions? Oh my gosh. I have so many ambitions. Lord have mercy. Oh, well, let me see. Anything? Lord, this is so much. Oh my gosh. I have all kinds of papers in here. Who said it had to be neat? It just has to be for me. Yeah, it just has to be. Oh, what else did I learn? Put photos of yourself in your journal so they're more personal. I learned that from Denise Robinson. Oh, you have a comment? You said, I like the idea of asset swapping. I sometimes take so much for granted or not regard the things we have become too accustomed to. Yes. And create a journal. Oh, see, look at that. When I get lazy, I just write in color. I don't do not artistic or fantastic or nothing. Get these emotions out of your body. Do the asset swapping. Sign up and do the asset swapping. Take 30 days, track your spending. Take 30 days, list your income. Let's dig and find out what's not working. So you're going to get, this is the link you're going to get in WhatsApp. It looks like this, right? So don't think, oh my God, it's a scam or anything like that. No. So remember, we're on financial confidence and we're on financial freedom. How do you get it? You track your income. You track your spending. Yeah. Oh, we got here. It says here, at what age is it just too late to seriously analyze your finances? I understand the emotional debt concept and it's right on track. Okay, I'm glad you asked the question. You don't want to see what my desk looks like, but I need to find something in order to answer you. I like that. Okay. So sometimes I journal with Chat GPT, and I'm answering the question about what age. So I asked Chat GPT, because we're in the age of AI, do I think AI will replace financial planners? Yes and no, because yes, in certain like grunt work we don't have to do, but in terms of getting to the meat of the matter, no, I don't think AI will ever replace humans. Somebody I have here, it's never too late. I agree. And that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to read to you. So let me find it. Okay. And you see I colored it. And the question was about like, what do you do after 70? And it basically talks about planning for longevity. Okay. So at a certain age, because at this document, I was looking at models for me at 70. And you got to be specific because, at 70, you're not planning for, well, if you go back to universities because you want to, but you're not really planning, you're not saving for university. At 70, you're not, if the average person is not saving for like a wedding or some of the things that you would associate with financial planning in your 20s and your 30s, basically is what I'm saying. So in this document, again, I colored this because one of the things that after a certain age, your financial plan is basically a health plan. Because again, I colored it, right? Because I really liked it. It says here that when you have fewer health issues, you have fewer hospital stays, which equal massive savings. Okay. And the chart here, okay. So, like, I don't want to get into my deep business, but in the chart here, when you're looking at over 70, there's insurance. So you're going to analyze if you have any insurance. And so in Jamaica, one of the really good things is that there's a National Health Fund. So under that, you would explore what benefits the National Health Fund gives. So that would be part of your financial plan. That would actually be an asset because there are like probably, and I'm not joking, 1,000 prescription drugs that covers. So immediately that saves you anywhere from 30 to 50% on prescription. That's an asset, okay, because it's a savings. Okay, after that, if you had any critical illness, so you want to make an assessment of that. Final expense, that can be had through your credit union. So I have it here. Also, you can ask your bank for debit or your credit card protection. So if you were to get sick and you needed to use your credit card, you can get coverage for that credit card. So that's part of the plan. And you're going to look at maybe the cost of diagnostic tests and your physical wellness. So are you taking yoga classes? Are you taking any classes? So I would start there. So if you're at a certain age, your number one asset is your health. It's your number one asset because that translates to costs. Okay? So the analysis is about longevity. How do you want to live? What is the dollar value of how you want to live? What is the cost of any preventative activities? Is it cheaper to go to a yoga class than physical therapy? I don't know. These are the questions. The answer is it's never too late. I agree with CBX News, but what I'm saying is you are now planning for longevity, and you are now looking at what assets you have, what services are available to you, and that is your financial plan. Any other question? I love that question. Any other questions? The other benefit of doing asset swapping is this. Because when you get financial freedom, what do you do with it? So you can build financial freedom, which is kind of what we were talking about tonight. You can buy it, you can let it grow, and over time it works for you. So that may be real estate, that may be a business system, it may be intellectual property. Next week, we're going to talk about investments, but we want you to use this concept of tracking your spending, tracking your income to build a foundation. Okay, we have a question. The concept that health is wealth becomes more concrete in the context of aging. Absolutely. And the next question is, that sounds like you should get in your rocking chair and avoid banana peels. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Longevity, I mean, okay, we've just totally turned to this, but longevity is really about you. What is it that you want in how do you define longevity? Because if sitting in your rocking chair is your thing, well, maybe you need to invest in like this massive 80-inch screen TV and enjoy what you're sitting in the rocking chair doing. Or if longevity means adventure for you, and you might be a hiker, yeah, well, what do you need? Do you need to invest in equipment? Do you know what is it that you need? I don't know. It could be hiking. Is international travel your thing? Well, okay. So you need to invest for that. So this is me saying it is never too late to have a financial plan. It is about the emotions. Here we go. It is about being honest with yourself. And it's really about creating that world that makes sense for you. However, tracking your spending, tracking your income, doing asset swapping for the purpose of creating an asset that pays you back. That's the whole point of this. If you found yourself in a hole, you found yourself not making great financial decisions, like I found myself in a horrible hole, not making great financial decisions. The only way to know how to make better decisions and the only way to know or to get the help you need is to track your spending, track your income so that guidance is available, so that support. And then with asset swapping, when you have that on paper and you can see your talents, your skills, your abilities, your furniture, your whatever, you're now in a position to say, okay, where do I go from here? How do I create the life I want? Okay. And again, remember that in financial confidence, what we want you to do is to be in a position where you're not panicking, you're not allowing your emotions to take the bank. Oh, am I see my thing freezing. Oh Lord, it's freezing, freezing, freezing. Okay, it's freezing. Okay, all right. So next week we're going to be looking at investments. We're going to start with the tummy because investing, some people like, oh, I'm sick to my stomach or I'm scared and my stomach and all kind of stomach conversations come up around investing and in trading and in learning about the financial markets and all that good stuff. I'm of the view that the three spaces we're inhabiting, the three containers, knowing your credit report, which means knowing if you're in emotional debt, knowing how to track your spending, track your income, and list your assets and be ready to swap them. And then next week, learning enough about the financial markets to kind of have a sense of comfort and give your stomach a little break. I think by week 4, when we put it all together, will be an awesome roadmap for you to take for the rest of 2026. And oh, very engaging session. Thank you. Your personality shines. Thank you. Makes money talk less stressful. Thank you. And see me next week. Thank you. So, if you have any questions, drop it in chat. And if you want to just drop me a line in WhatsApp, please check your email. You'll be getting emails from me. You are in our community, in the financial confidence community. So you'll have access to the course and all the little yummy goodies. I'll be sending links out tomorrow. And again, any questions? Any questions? Going once? Going twice? Okay. Bye.